YouTube, what's going on, man? It's Kid Jalen.
And Brandon.
We're back in another video. This time, guys, we're back to seven NBA players who should have been all-time greats. I could probably name a couple, but let's get into this, guys.
Carmelo?
Let's do this.
What's up, guys? Mike here, and today we're going to be talking
right
about
now.
7 players who were never able to fulfill their full potential. Now, these players, for some reason, be it injuries or a cocaine problem, and yeah, we've been talking a lot about cocaine on this channel recently. The cocaine era in the 80s was horrible. But anyway, these players should have been great, but something held them back. And before we jump into this, I just want to ask you guys, please watch until the end. Never asked you to do that before, but I have something I want to talk about with you guys, so just watch until the end, please. Number 7, David Thompson. Let's play a game. I'm going to show 2 players' stats at the age of 23. One is Kobe Bryant, one is David Thompson. You guess which one is which. Player A, 22.5 points per game, 6.3 rebounds per game, and 4.9 assists per game. Player B, 27.2 points per game, 4.9 rebounds per game, and 4.5 assists
Kobe's
per
on the
game.
left, right?
Yup. Player A is Kobe, and player B
I know,
is
Kobe's on the
David Thompson. At the age of 23, Thompson finished 3rd in the MVP voting and
Damn, look
led
at
the
the
Nuggets to
height.
the Western Conference Finals. An
I think the
ultra-athletic
rims were
guard,
taller back
Thompson
then.
was at one point the most explosive player in the NBA. And then he discovered cocaine, which ruined his career and had him out of the NBA at
Damn.
the young age of 29. The cocaine era in the NBA had many casualties, and Thompson was probably the second most tragic, which leads us to number 6, Len Bias.
Len
The
Bias.
death of
Yeah,
Len
man.
Bias
Rest in
is
peace, Len Bias,
probably
yeah.
the most tragic story in all of NBA history. A 6'8" wing with incredible athleticism and a nice jump shot, Bias was seen as a natural future rival for Michael Jordan, and he was on the perfect team to be that rival. Because after some crafty maneuvering from Red Auerbach, the Boston Celtics were able to select Bias with the number 2 overall pick in the draft.
That
And
means he
they
would play
had
with
just
Bird?
won the NBA
Yeah.
championship.
Oh,
Bias
they might
was
not have-
supposed
they
to
might
be the
never would've
successor
lost.
to Larry Bird, the
Who knows if
next
Jordan
great
would've won
Celtic
titles?
legend.
Yeah.
But tragedy struck. Just hours after the NBA draft, Bias collapsed while celebrating his personal success. Not long after, he passed away. Later on, reports would reveal that Bias had died of a cocaine overdose, making him the
Damn, that's
poster
sad,
child for
man.
just how bad the NBA's drug
After he
problem
got
had become.
drafted.
Number 5, Greg Oden. From the first time he stepped onto a high school basketball court, Greg Oden was considered a future NBA All-Star, a future Hall of Famer, and, of course, a future number 1 overall draft pick. And he did become one of those things,
Man,
but
scary, yeah.
he also became one of the biggest busts in NBA history. Greg Oden has to live with the fact that he will be on top 10 NBA draft bust lists until he dies, which sucks because it's not really his fault. Oden's right leg is shorter than his left, a condition that when combined with the strain of an NBA season left him with a career full of knee problems. And his right leg is only shorter than his
Damn,
left because
bro.
no
That's
one
like-
took him to a
how
doctor
you-
for
That's,
months
like, sad,
in the
though, like,
sixth
damn, like, you're,
grade.
like, you're
Even
still
though he was
young.
walking
You
around
made
with
it to your
a noticeable
dreams,
limp.
and,
People
like, you're
already
finished.
forget that he was a first-team All-American as a freshman
Sad.
and led his team to the national championship game. The guy should be a defensive force in the NBA right now. His body just failed him. Number 4, Ralph Sampson. At 7'4", Ralph Sampson was a
7'4",
physical freak,
yeah.
and that's not an insult. It's
Nah,
just
that's
the
crazy.
only way to describe it. Because while
7'4"?
most men his size were barely able to run up
means
and
he was
down
taller
the
than y'all,
court,
mean?
Sampson was actually a fast big man with a nice touch. These abilities allowed him to be an all-star for the first 4 seasons of his career. And remember, he was so good at one point that Houston declined a trade offer of Clyde Drexler and the 1984 number 2 pick, aka the right to draft Michael Jordan. Combine this with the fact that he was paired with Hakeem Olajuwon, a perfect front court partner with him, and Sampson should have spent his prime racking up stats and picking out rings. Instead, he, like many big men his size, was ruined due to knee injuries. But
Damn, bro.
here's the worst thing. Sampson wasn't predisposed to those
Damn,
injuries. They only took place after he experienced one of the worst falls in NBA history, landing directly on his back in the old Boston Garden. After the fall, he started running
Get outta
differently
here.
and put more pressure on one knee, which led to his injuries and the Lakers winning a few more titles. Number 3,
That
Grant
sucks,
Hill.
yo.
Grant Hill
Grant-
was
oh,
a
man,
7-time
Grant Hill.
All-Star, 4-time second All-NBA
Oh, crossover.
selection,
Oof.
and a
One step.
1-time
Too
first-team
easy.
All-NBA selection. He is unarguably the most successful player on this list. But the thing is, he only tasted success, while he should have been drinking bottles of it. In the summer of 2000, Hill was going to be a free agent and was in the prime of his career, a fact that dominated the news at the time. As that season went on, Hill began to feel extreme amounts of pain in his ankle, Not wanting to appear soft to the media or his fans, he played through that pain, averaging 25.8 points per game until it was discovered that his ankle was broken. That summer, he signed with the Magic, giving them what appeared to be an unstoppable wing duo.
That would have been disgusting. Grant Hill trades been ready if Grant Hill never got hurt.
From his injury too early and was never the same. So instead of possibly performing the impossible feat of leading a team with T-Mac on it to the second round of the playoffs, Hill lost out on his prime.
It's like what could have been, you know what I mean?
Really write his name into NBA history. Number 2, Bill Walton. From the start of the 1977 season all the way up until the 61st game of the 1978 season, Bill Walton owned the NBA. His team, the Portland Trail Blazers, won the 1977 NBA championship while he was named Finals MVP. The next year, the Blazers started the season at 50-10 and were clear favorites to repeat as NBA champions. And then Walton injured his foot, an injury that would force him to miss the remainder of the season. And even though he missed those last 22 games, he still was named the MVP of the league. He was that dominant, and he was only 25 years old. To put this into perspective, imagine if Anthony Davis won the NBA championship next season, won the MVP the year after that, and then never made the All-Star game again. That was Bill Walton. And number 1, Penny Hardaway. The year is 1996.
I would have thought maybe Derrick Rose would more than once, but maybe this just needs to be updated.
At the young age of 25,
Derrick Rose, he still got time to get back right.
Been named a member of the All-NBA First Team twice, and outdueled Michael Jordan in a playoff series. Based on what NBA history has shown us, Penny Hardaway should have built upon his early success and had a long and successful career. But he didn't. Instead, Penny did not make an All-NBA team after the 97 season or an All-Star game after the 98 season. So what happened? Well, to put it simply, he, like many before him, had bad knees. After the summer of 96, Penny struggled with knee injuries that zapped him of his athleticism and explosiveness. Add this on to the departure of Shaq to LA, and in a matter of months, Penny went from one of the NBA's brightest young stars on one of its best teams to an injury-riddled former phenom who would never fulfill his full potential. Which is unfortunate, because at his best, Penny was compared to a young Magic Johnson. He was a 6'7" athletic point guard who could both set his teammates up and score with ease. Nowadays, people remember Penny as Shaq's first sidekick, but really, he was Shaq's first wingman, a player whose future was so promising that Nike built a signature campaign around him. But again, like many before him, Penny was not able to fulfill his potential, and that's what makes him one of the greatest what-if players in NBA history. And so there you have it. 7 players who should have been all-time greats. Honestly, looking at this list was just depressing to me because we missed out on so much good basketball. And if you're still here, thank you for listening to my earlier message. If you're not a subscriber already, I would appreciate if you subscribe. We're doing a lot of cool stuff here. But regardless of that, I think I'm going to start streaming on Twitch. I've been thinking about doing it for a while, honestly, and I think just the perfect time to do it would be the start of the NBA playoffs, because that way I could talk basketball with you guys, and I don't know, I think it'd be a lot of fun. Like, I'd play some NBA 2K or whatever, but in reality, we'd all just be watching the NBA playoff games, chilling, talking basketball. I really think it'd be a great time. So here's the link to my channel. I'll put it right here. I'll put it in the description. If I get some followers, I see there's interest, definitely going to be doing it. Definitely want to do it. So let's just do this. And as always, guys, have an awesome day. And I haven't been doing this in the NBA videos. Not sure why, but we're going to start. Cue the music.
We're at this right here. That's kind of pretty depressing. Actually, especially your RP them bias, man. Like that's pretty sad. Yo, like drugs and just like injuries. Period. Like happen to you. Like you make it to your dreams, man. Your dreams. This is a dream. They start when they're younger. You know, it's not even just basketball. It's all other sports too. It happens, and you start from a kid to when you're old, and your dream is just to make it to professional leagues, and you make it there. Then injuries ruin you. What was that kid in the NBA draft that still got drafted, but like he found out like a couple days before the draft he couldn't play?
I don't know. I don't remember his name.
It was Austin something. I'm pretty sure it was Austin something, but yeah, he found out I think he had something like I think chronically wrong with him that he couldn't play. But Adam Silver still drafted him.
Yeah. And if you guys seen the video that my face is kind of like down and I'm not bored. It's the fact that this video is kind of depressing, so that's why it's like all the injury stuff. I don't really like watching depressing stuff, so you know I try to stay positive for people out there. But this is just depressing. Like who could have been all-time greats, and now they have to reflect on the fact that in life.
Wait, they didn't have Tracy McGrady on the list?
No, because he still played great, even if he did get injured sometimes.
Nah, but he like that's like I mean, yeah, Tracy McGrady still had a decent career with the manager's injuries. Yeah, I kind of understand that a little, but still though, like he was still out of the league. He was still kind of like out of the league before his time. Allen Iverson had a pretty good, but Allen Iverson's a Hall of Famer, so I guess he can't get on the list. But he had injuries too that really like kind of. I mean, I guess Derrick Rose has time, but like what is he, 26, 27 already?
Yeah, he still got time though, but yeah. So if you guys see my face like that, that's why I'm just. It's not a good feeling. Like they going through life and like they have to regret that they wasn't healthy enough and it could have been more money for them when they retired. You know, just a lot of stuff that goes through my mind when I watch videos like this. Like it's kind of depressing, but
it's like that. It's like you just always make sure you just have a plan B, like because you just never know whatever happens. Whatever happens, you know, this is your passion, but you might go to the doctor's next day for injury. The doctor be like, "Listen,
can't play no more.
Can't play no more." So
it's crazy.
But that'll be it for the video. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys if you guys want to see more content from us, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Post daily, every day. j&barmy, we're growing to 1,000 guys. But until next time, guys, salute.